Just like all sorts of random crap. USPS, Walmart, Winco.
Oh, yeah. Totally forgot about that.
What else? Conspiracy theories. I love conspiracy theories.
Totally. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to Channel 99. I appreciate that. We have with us today my boy Corey Wright, and dude, we basically kind of grew up together. I remember, did you ever go to Fairmont back in the day?
Yeah.
Like Fairmont Pool, and we'd like splash fight and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So we kind of reminisce on this first episode. Corey is kind of doing a little bit of an interview that he doesn't know about, and we're gonna actually talk more specifically in the next episode 2, about wrestling. But on this episode, we talk a lot about basically everything. We talk about. What you already talked about? What did you say again? What are we talking about?
We talked about Winco, Weremarts.
Oh yeah.
Conspiracy theories. Alex Jones, Joe Rogan.
I talked about it a lot. Probably didn't cover it all just now, but it's a party cast, so you know what to expect. And we have a great time. So make sure that you subscribe, give us 5 stars, pass the episode along, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.
Shut up and sit down.
I see dead people.
Yeah, so the first time that I ever smoked weed was going into junior year in high school. And I was like freaking out, dude. I was like freaking out. I was like, I took this hit, and my buddies were like, hold it for like 30 seconds. And so I'm like trying to count to 30, and I'm like 1,000, 2 1,000, and by the time I exhaled, it was like I was on a whole different level. And every time I breathed in, I felt like I took another hit. And so for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, probably for the entire night, I don't remember, but I was like, did I just take another hit? Every time I breathed in, I was like, did I just take another hit? What's going on? Did I just take another hit? Because I felt like I was in a movie.
Yeah.
Like the first time I smoked weed, and I hear a lot of people, and they're like, oh, the first time I smoked, I didn't feel anything, I didn't get high, and I'm like, oh, well,
that's 100% why. Right
then then your friends had shitty weed, because when I smoked for the first time, I literally thought I was in a movie, and every time I breathed in, I thought I took another hit, and I didn't know what was going on. I was freaking out, dude.
Well, back in junior high, me and someone who will remain nameless sold some catnip with mustard seeds in it.
No doubt.
To someone who will also remain nameless, and they smoked it right in front of us. And they're like, oh, dude, I'm so high.
No shit.
Sure you are.
Do I know this person? Do they go by the first name of Brett?
Yes. There you go. Bum on.
That is fucking awesome.
Man.
I totally remember that, because he told me that he actually smoked catnip one time.
What an awesome guy.
And thought he was high at first. Yeah. He used to sell me weed
Brett.
when I was married.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 'cause he lived down the road, and he was married at the time, too.
He got married to my ex-girlfriend.
Who's your ex-girlfriend?
Leanna.
No shit. I saw her for the first time in like forever since those two were married. I saw her for the first time like probably a week ago.
She's been working out a lot, dude.
Yeah, she looks good. I don't really follow her anymore online. Like, we're like friends and stuff online, but I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Like, she's a super sweet girl though.
she's been married a few times.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I don't know if it's her fault or the guy's fault. I don't really.
she only has one kid though, right?
She has 2.
She's birthed 2 babies.
Yeah, she has a girl and a boy.
Gotcha. So, Coolio.
One with Brett.
Yeah,
I was like, I could have warned you about him. Like,
I like Brett. He's a little intense.
Camping.
He's pretty intense. He's like military intense, but you have to like consider like his background, right? Like, he didn't have a dad.
Yeah, I know.
Like, his mom had like water on the brain. You know, like there was a lot of different things about Brett that like as you get older, you're kind of like, oh, it makes sense why he kind of acted out the way he did.
I don't Did he ever play football? I feel
He
like I
did.
played
He was
football with
on.
him.
He was on our team, dude.
Yeah, I was
Horn
like,
frog
I feel-
football. We love it.
Like, I swear to God, we played football with him.
Yeah. What position? So we played football on the Horned Frogs. What years? So I played from 10. I played 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah, I only played 1 year because after that I thought it was way too cool. I played O-line mostly.
You played tackle, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some defensive line. But I was like one of the bigger, like fatter kids on the team.
Back in the day.
Yeah, you know. And then I just, one of the best memories I remember that is we were doing drills or whatever, and I'm supposed to tackle the running back. Well, David Hart comes around the corner, like full truck.
Laying a hat.
And I'm like, whoop.
Yeah.
And I just laid on the ground for like 5 minutes, like, all right.
Both of our running backs were black guys.
Yeah.
Like black kids.
Yeah, well,
Jesse-
and one of them's dad was in the NBA, so that's, you know.
Jesse
Childs.
Childs,
I don't know
yeah.
whatever happened to him. I mean, I tried to follow to see if he like did anything in college, but I didn't really see anything.
He did. Well, he didn't. I can give you a rundown on him. I ran into that guy probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and he played at like Wingate University. I'm sorry, not him. He played at like a JUCO. David Hart played at Wingate University, but Jesse Childs played at like a JUCO somewhere. He was playing basketball, and he was trying to get into the Euro League. Mm-hmm. So he was trying to get out and play basketball.
So like
over
the
in
ball
Europe.
kids, he was trying to get in like the ball kids in the Euro League. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the next step up, like the JV squad of like the NBA.
Oh yeah.
Or like even the practice squad for the JV of the NBA. But like, so I ran into him again. It was like 4 years ago, but he kind of like dropped off the radar too. Like him and I followed each other for a little while online, and then he just kind of disappeared. Who knows? He probably has like a bunch of kids with like a bunch of women.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I mean, does David Hart still live in town? Because I swear to God,
No.
I delivered his mail the other day, but it might have been somebody else.
You might have, but I'm pretty sure he lives down in like Georgia area,
Oh,
like
okay.
down dirty
Yeah.
south. Because he moved there a long time
Oh,
ago,
really?
right?
Oh, okay. You remember ATL in high school?
Oh, dude.
Johnny?
Yeah.
That was great.
Zone 5, Zone 4, Zone 6, ATL.
All I could ever like, to me, it just sounded like blah, 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 ATL.
Yeah. And then he would always shout out to zones, and I was always like, this dude's gangster, so I'm just going to roll with it.
Right?
Cheers, by the way. Thanks for
Woo.
bringing over
No
these
problem.
drinks, man. We are not sponsored by Rogue, but we got Combat Wombat. What is this, an IPA or something?
It's kind of like a special little IPA. It's sour, so they actually threw a little bit of yogurt in there to get some sour into it. And it's got blood orange and grapefruit in it as well.
It's pretty fucking good, man.
Yeah, I first had it last year when we went to Newport. We went to the brewery, and I go up to the restaurant, and they're like, "What do you want for beer?" And I'm like, "Well, just fuck me up. Just give me everything." Mm-hmm. And out of all of them, this was my favorite. So I just continue buying it. The only place around here that has it is Costco, but it's like $5 a bottle. So you're welcome.
Did you literally go to Costco and buy these before you came over?
No, I bought a whole case.
Oh, nice.
Because I like it that much. I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy a whole case. It's delicious.
Makes sense. Albertsons would be twice as much, man.
Albertsons is terrible on prices.
Yeah, they're a little expensive, but it's a convenience at that
It's
point.
the world's largest convenience store.
Dude, yeah. Albertsons is legit. I mean, they're across the street, and whenever I just need to grab anything, I'm like,
Right.
ugh. I
But
guess I'll
nobody-
go over there and spend an extra $1.
But
on
nobody does a
something.
whole shop there.
They don't.
You go to Winco or Walmart or something.
Yeah.
Or-
And I can talk to that on like an analytical level because I've actually done work on those places. The average cart for Albertsons is like close to like $30,
Right.
Where like Winco is close to like 100 and like 150.
Well, but see
like
that-
even more. If
You
not.
know as well as I do. They're working off the whole warehousing model. We're trying to push more product. We might make less profit off each piece, but we're pushing so many more pieces.
That's like the
that
Costco.
Right. We're actually making more money. And that's why, Winco's growing, man. They're going everywhere. They have them in Oklahoma City.
No shit.
Yeah.
They're already in Oklahoma.
They have them in Texas.
Yeah, I knew they had them in Texas because I think the 100th store opened in Texas. And working in like the field that I do and the industry that I do, I get a lot of the updates and the feeds for like retail. And I mean, Winco's like one of the biggest competitors right now, retail wise, like a brick and mortar to a Winco, or I mean to Walmart than anybody else. It's because they can compete on the prices, the structure of their business, everything just kind of works. And do you remember when it was called a Walmart?
Yeah, I remember my mom used to have to take a grease pen and mark on the stuff the price that was on the shelf.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they didn't even have prices on it because they didn't want to pay somebody to price it because it would add more to the bottom line of the product, right? So
yeah,
that was over on Overland before.
That one was?
Yeah, I remember going there.
I just remember we would always go over there. I would always like skateboard in that area, and I would buy like Arizona watermelons, like the watermelon juice from Arizona's.
Then you add like
at 3 o'clock in the morning.
What is that stuff you add to it to make lean? Like
what is that?
Whatever lean. Haven't you heard that stupid Lil Pump song? What the heck is that song called? Oh, Gucci Gang. You haven't heard Gucci Gang?
I haven't.
Oh, you don't need to listen to it. It's terrible.
I don't even listen to Gucci Gang.
Yeah, don't do it. It's bad.
I won't. Everybody, though, who's listening in, I got my boy Corey right. We haven't even seen each other since at least high school days, if not like before that. You're a man of like mystery. And we're here to talk about a bunch of like wrestling, WWE stuff, because one night you messaged me and said that would be a cool show, and I was like, holy shit,
I was
yeah,
probably
that'd be a cool
drunk,
show.
so.
Probably, yeah. No, it's cool. And I was probably drunk when I responded. I was like, yeah, that'd be sick. But I mean, you do a lot of stuff. You've been in bands, military. You work for USPS. You've got great stories on that. You touched on a little bit before I cut you off and said we need to put this in the studio, so don't talk to me right now about that. But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Word.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for the drinks, and so I just wanted to give everybody an intro, just because they probably listened for the last 10 minutes and not realize who we were talking about or talking with. So. But yeah, so let's continue. What were we talking about? The Walmart, right?
Yeah, it's always been such a great place to shop. I mean, yeah, they don't always have like, if you need something very specific, the likelihood of them having it is probably fairly low. They're getting a lot better about that. You know, if you do need something that's like uber gourmet,
yeah,
Albertsons might have it.
Right.
They have that new Albertsons down on.
It's the Fairview and Eagle.
Yeah,
it's the big one. I haven't been there. I was a part of the development process to like get that store up and running and open with the analytical side. But it was a very minimal part. Like I literally was on a team that handled like olives. So like everything you see on the shelves for olives, that's like the team that I worked with.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, Lindsay Olives. There you go.
There you go.
But yeah. Sorry, continue.
What were we talking about?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Let's just
we were
move
talking
on.
about Albertsons.
Well, yeah, it's a home. You know, I feel like I need to support
Walmart.
I feel like I need to support Albertsons and Winco and Walmart just because. Well, now they actually have a Walmart out in Ontario.
What?
Yeah, it took up the old Kmart, I think.
It's an actual Walmart, though, or is it a Winco?
It's called Walmart by Winco. It's kind of like their
original
pilot store on. You know how now Walmart has the neighborhood markets?
Yeah.
It's kind of like their pilot store to do that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, though.
That's pretty cool. I think that, you know, they're kind of making moves to make things happen. You know, I think they'll.
Walmart.
As far as groceries go, they probably put a pretty big challenge on Walmart's.
Yeah, yeah. And they're starting to introduce a bunch of like organic stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, if you shop their brand, like you can save so much money, and it tastes just as good as any other brand. Like anytime I'm like, oh, where's the Winco brand? Oh, it's cheaper. Throw it in the cart.
Yeah. I'm all about generic in certain circumstances. Macaroni and cheese, no. I got to go with the blue box. And what was the other one? I actually thought about this the other day. It was
For
like
our
macaroni
Canadian
and
friends,
cheese.
that's craft dinner.
Yeah. Oh, is that what they call it in
Yes,
Canada?
KD, old craft dinner.
Craft
They eat
dinner?
a lot of it.
Yeah. I love Kraft macaroni and cheese. And then the other one that I can't skimp on, I can't think of it right now. But yeah, definitely macaroni and cheese.
I'm still waiting for the
Blue Box
Winco
Kid.
beer, the Winco 30 rack.
I'm surprised they don't have
It's
it
like
yet.
$10.
Kind of like Costco. They have their Kirkland signature.
Oh, it's terrible
light.
though.
Is it really?
Oh, it's not good at all.
You know what though? So if you go out of state in places that don't have the state liquor licenses,
Dude, I lived in Vegas. We'd go there and I'd get like
they're Kirkland
1.5 liters of vodka for $14,
and it's Grey Goose,
and it tastes delicious.
because it's Grey Goose,
Right, and it's delicious.
It's literally Grey Goose.
I know. I'm like, wow. So that's why I'm kind of mad. Like, we don't have that here. I've actually thought about like being kind of a modern day bootlegger and driving down to Reno and loading up the bed of my truck with like Kirkland brand liquor.
No, I've talked to guys. So one of my buddies, and this is funny to say he's my buddy. He's 73. I see him at the gym all the time, and they will drive.
Is he naked in the in the locker room?
I haven't actually.
Oh,
we
okay.
actually haven't ever like.
You know how-
Yeah,
you
I
know-
show up like when he's working out.
You
or
know what I'm
vice versa.
talking about, though.
Yeah, like
the old dudes are always like
just
it's really
balls
funny.
out.
They'll be wearing a towel, and they go to step up to the scale. They whip the towel off and throw it over their shoulder, and then step up on the scale. I'm like, that didn't do anything, but
Probably-
that's cool.
Probably because a lot of them can't see their dick over their bellies, so they don't know that there's just balls hanging out.
Right.
But no, this guy actually, he's hardcore, and his family. So he's got a couple children, and they all surprisingly work at Nike. So he's like a guy who's like Nike Central hardcore. He loves his Nike stuff, and anyways, like he's got a lot of family in like California, and every time I talk to him about vacation, he will tell me about what happens. And every now and again, when he goes to the California vacations, he used to work for Nike also, so he's like retired from them and whatnot. But they'll go down, and he told me the last time he went down there to California to like hang out with family for the weekend, they spent $700 on liquor, and they bought all Kirkland signature brand. Yeah. And he was like, you can't beat that. If we just come up here and we stock our entire liquor cabinet for like half the cost of what it would cost for the same quality of all those. And
Seriously.
we're talking bourbon.
Everything they make is good. Like
Rum,
I've drank
whiskey. Yeah,
all
you
their
know.
grades of tequila, from the silver to the reposado to the añejo. You know, their vodkas, both the American and the French, both very delicious. They have a Canadian whiskey that tastes just like Crown, but you can get a giant bottle for like $16.
Is Crown a Canadian whiskey?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I always thought Crown was a cordial. And call me stupid, but I was the main distributor. I've worked with two different companies, and the main company that I was an analyst, I was the main analyst for all their like sales and whatnot, was for Diageo. Well, Diageo handles like 3 Olives Tequila, Kraken Rum, Jose Cuervo. Like, they're the number 5 distributor of liquor in the entire world.
Yeah, they were always, if you ever watched that show Bar Rescue, they were always like, Diageo's come in and giving us all this stuff.
Never seen it.
Wow.
Yeah, I was the guy that told them these are the numbers that are true, and this is what you need to do with your company, and then this is how you should proceed with your business. So, like, so for me, I never really was into liquor until I started getting more into like the concert scene and taking photos and doing stuff like that. And now I'm starting to slowly learn, and I have books and books and books as far as liquor, are you a liquor guy? Like, are you like very familiar with the difference between like a bourbon?
Oh yeah.
And like
I mean, I like everything though. Like, I've been all around the world. I've drank liquors all around the world. I've drank beers all around the world. But you know what? On a hot summer day, like I'll still crack open a Coors Light and be like, man, this is refreshing.
America.
You know, because I'm not a snob about it. I understand that every liquor and beer has its place and its price point. You know, you're not going to buy a beer that tastes better than a Coors Original at the same price.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Right.
You know, people are like, ooh, that's disgusting. I'm like, well, but it was like $10 for like 900 beers. Like, I don't...
For a whole case.
I'm gonna get slaughtered tonight.
Yeah.
And you bought a 6-pack for $30.
Yeah.
You know, and you might have like kind of a good time. I don't know.
Beer jacks me up, man. Like when I drink liquor, it's a different kind of a drunk, right? And then I haven't even powered through a third of, not even like a quarter.
Well,
of
this one's only 7.2%, so, which is actually pretty high by beer standards.
It's pretty high, yeah. There's a couple out there that are pretty high. I have some friends that are, you know, and they brew beer. My buddy, and you might know who he is. Hold on, Evans. Why can't I think of his name right now? This is terrible. He's the lead brewer for Powder House. He's like the head brewer.
I keep meaning to get out there.
Have you ever had Powder House? I get a lot of mixed reviews. He was also the head brewer. His name's Tyler Evans. Tyler, God damn it, I can't believe I fucked that up. Sorry, Tyler, if you're listening to this, which you're probably not. But he was also one of the brewers for Edge, and he's one of the investors, and he owns part of the company as far as like Edge Brewing goes. But he moved on from Edge, and now he's doing Powder House, and I've just had mixed reviews. I'm not a beer guy, dude. I don't really drink beer.
I cannot believe how big Payette has gotten. Like,
has it gotten big?
Like, it's right behind the post office, and they have a tasting room over there. So, like, twice a week I go over there and, like, grab some beers. And, dude, it's always packed. And it's a huge... It's on...
U-Stick and
on
Gold?
River. It's on River and 13th, and it's just, like, this giant building. They've got a whole bunch of beer vats back there, and you can actually take like a little tour. They have like a little ladder you can go up to see them all pumping all the beer and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly where that's at.
So like it's like kind of, where the Cottonwood Grill is.
Yeah, it's right there, right off the river off ramp.
Yeah,
and you go across. Yeah, you go across.
And it's
the little
huge,
bridge.
and they've came from like very small beginning. They probably got some good investors. I'm just gonna guess.
Yeah,
because you don't buy that kind of stuff just selling small batch beer.
Well, and they always have like a food truck out there for food.
Yeah.
And then the last time that I was out there, they had just started their live performance, like their summer series or something like that. So they do like a summer series where they have like bands that come in, like local people, probably regional people, that come in and yeah, so Payette Brewing's doing a good job. I've been there a ton, but again, I'm not a beer guy, and so I really don't pay much attention.
I usually find like, I like pretty much any beer I drink, but I find like 4 or 5 that I just continually like. I'm gonna buy that. Like if I just go to a random grocery store to buy beer, it's either gonna be PBR, Rainier, Coors Original, maybe Busch, or Tecate. That's really maybe Modelo. My neighbor likes Modelo. I live in Caldwell.
Yeah. So yeah, you're gonna be buying some Modelo. And
I'm the only white guy in my cul-de-sac. So
no shit.
Yeah. So we're always like having taco cookouts and like just having a great time. They love the
carne
party,
asada,
dude.
Oh.
We're out late.
Yeah.
Their kids are out late. I'm like, don't those kids need to go to bed? No, it's cool. I'm like, well, whatever. Let's just do it.
Dude, when I was in Mexico, like, we went out on the town, and there were parks out there, like, in the middle of the city, and and it was like 1:00 in the morning, and it was fucking filled with kids
Yeah.
just playing in the park. And I'm like, that's why your kids get abducted,
Right.
and sold into the trade, like, because your kids are out running around with like probably drunk parental supervision. Right. And then you just go home thinking these kids are going to go home to you, and then you wake up the next day and they are in America.
Well, so, like, funny story about that
this
is my...
nicotine, by the way. Are you a nicotine guy?
No, I actually was maybe going to ask for a break so I can go get my dip. And
we can.
Yeah.
Like, whenever you
I know
want.
there's, like, a pause button, right?
Yeah,
this isn't live, right?
No, but it is when we get back. We've only been going for 23 minutes.
Oh, okay. So... my buddy is from Juarez, and so they have all these ice cream guys called palianteros, and they walk around with basically like an igloo cooler on wheels. They got big cowboy hats and shit.
Yeah, so Mexican.
Orale, come buy some ice cream, you know? And it's totally cool. And,
helado, muchachos. Yeah.
And he, like, followed the paliantero, like, for, like, 2 miles, and finally the guy turns around and notices this little kid. He's like, "Oh, I remember you from that house," and he walked him all the way back by his hand, took him all the way back to his house.
That's crazy.
But that was Mexico 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Before all the drugs blew up and everything got nuts, you know.
Mexico's crazy right now. So, like, I was talking to...
I'd rather go there than the Dominican Republic, where you get
where you're going to die.
poisoned.
Yeah, you're going to get poisoned. But everybody's getting poisoned in fucking Mexico, too.
Yeah.
If not shot or abducted. I mean, people were dying left and right. Right after I went to Mexico, I went to Cancun in November of 16. Literally right when I got home, 2 people got shot at the resort that I was right next to.
No way.
And they died. And then right after that, it was the whole, like, alcohol scare.
Yeah.
Where, like, everybody started dying from, like, poisoned alcohol. And then the U.S. put a travel, like, what was it? Like a travel warning. Basically, it was the same travel warning that, like, hey, you can go to Syria, get
Right.
abducted by the Taliban, or you can go to Mexico and you can die of poisoning or get abducted by a cartel,
Right.
sold on the market, or fucking cut up into pieces because you're not gonna mule your way back into the U.S. So,
I'm pretty cute. I think I could.
bro, you could probably pass more for Mexican than me just because you have red hair.
Well, Canelo's my cousin, so it totally works out.
If I go down there, I was talking to this girl. She's straight out of Mexico City, and I was talking to her the other day, and she was even telling me, she's like, I would not ever go back to Mexico. She's like, it's very scary. And she lived in, like, a very nice area of, like, Mexico City, but I mean, this woman is a very beautiful woman, and so I can see why she would probably be a little hesitant, because
Right.
chances are good they'll just grab her off the street and sell her
Right.
for, like, bottom price,
And-
which is sad because she deserves top dollar.
You know, like in the military, even today, they're still banned. So, like, you can't go from the border to 50 miles in the interior of Mexico because of the whole drug war. And since my buddy was from Juarez, he can't even, and his grandma died, and he couldn't go to her funeral.
No way.
Yeah, because he wasn't allowed to go in that area.
Because he was
And
contracted
even
by the government.
even
like
for a
the
little
military.
while during all that crap you were talking about in Cancun, we were banned from going to Quintana Roo. So you couldn't go to Cancun or Playa del Carmen or any of that stuff. In fact,
Yeah.
we honeymooned in Playa del Carmen. It was awesome. Like, we stayed in all-inclusive. I never knew that meant you could drink as much as you can drink.
It does.
Dude, I was like,
I didn't even drink when I went to Mexico.
oh.
Honestly, man, I didn't drink. I probably had maybe 5 drinks in 5 days.
If I would have known
If I would have known what
that I
know
could
now.
get, like, because we went out on the town in Playa del Carmen and stuff. If I would have known I could get, like, stolen and, like, rapified and stuff, I probably wouldn't have gotten as drunk as I did. Because, like,
Or maybe I would have gotten more drunk and just enjoyed it.
when you're
No,
drunk.
it's scary, but I mean, like, aside from, like, Mexico being a threat to, like, people like you and I, and the travel warnings being as serious as like terrorist states.
Yeah.
I had a blast. I absolutely loved it. A lot of people that I was with, everybody that I was with had a good time. But when I got back, it was okay. So when I flew back, this is crazy. When I was in Mexico, it was the week leading up to the Trump, or like basically leading up into the votes, like the U.S. election, and like Fox News and all the conservative agencies, like all the TV shows, they were all good up until the night before the election. I remember laying in bed with my ex-girlfriend and trying to turn on the news because I like to see news from every aspect. So we're watching CNN, we're watching MSNBC, we're watching, and these are all the Mexican like local channels that are like associated with those networks, you know. And then I go to Fox just to see what's going on with Fox because I mean, at the time everybody was like, "Oh, Trump's gonna lose." It's like 90% Hillary Clinton and 10% Donald Trump. And so I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna listen to this. I kind of want to see what Mexico thinks." The night before we leave, the day of the election, I guess the night before we leave, which is the night before the day of the election, they scrambled all of the right side channels. There was no Fox News. There was nothing that had to do with any of the right side.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy, right? And so as we're flying back, I see a few people actually, which I was like, wow, you're fucking ballsy, bro. They're wearing like Make America Great Again shit.
Oh, really?
Coming back from Mexico.
No way.
And I was like, dude, you're all lucky that you didn't get your fucking head chopped off, and you know, maybe 5 years from now they'd find you in a mass grave of everybody who's got a red t-shirt on.
Well, if they find you because they cover you in freaking lie and it just eats your bones.
Nah, dude.
Or whatever.
Nah, they don't give a fuck. Dude, they don't care. They'll just throw you in a fucking pit. And dude, they're finding so many mass graves down there.
I know. It's really sad.
It's really sad.
I think the biggest thing we could do to stop all the killings in Mexico is to legalize all drugs.
I'm 100% for that, and I've talked about that for years and years.
Legalize all drugs. You know what? If you want to shoot heroin up your butthole, boom.
I don't fucking care. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. You want to if you want to shoot meth between your toes, fucking do it.
Portugal already proved that whenever you decriminalize drugs, the use rate actually goes down because there's no like, oh, this is illegal, this is totally cool.
Yeah.
No,
I'm doing something so like mainstream and so anti-mainstream.
Right. No. Yeah. Right. So all the punk rockers would be like, I'm going to stop smoking pot because, damn it, it's illegal. It's legal now.
Yeah.
You can buy it at Maverick.
Yeah. Well, and there's big businesses that are starting to get into at least marijuana, but like, but it's true. Like a lot of those companies, a lot of those drugs, if you just legalize them, like there's going to be no black market for it. Black market is going to bring.
Well, they have to be cheap enough.
So much stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
but
true.
I think your general John Q. citizen is still not going to buy it off the black market if it's legal. I mean, there are some people who are probably John Q. citizen that buy weed on the black market because it's illegal, or they drive to Huntington, where apparently they've jacked the prices up, from what I hear. But I think that, you know, for the most part, most people aren't going to do drugs. The people that are going to do drugs are already doing drugs.
They are. And this is the way that I feel, and it's probably because of the influences that I've had and the conversations I've had with people. If somebody wants to do self-detriment, right? If they want to do a bunch of drugs, we already have alcoholics.
Right.
What's the fucking difference, you know? Like, yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, totally. Like, we already have people who are going to abuse what we have that's illegal. The problem is, a lot of these illegal drugs, they kind of cross over into the prescription line.
Yeah.
You know, like where you have like your meth
Right.
Where these people, I'm like, yo, you should just fucking go get an Adderall script and just tell them that you have a difficult time making fucking hamburgers if you're already an addict, right?
Right.
Like you have a difficult
It's
time.
still an
like,
amphetamine. I mean, just
it is.
go get junked up on that.
I'm prescribed it. It's dextroamphetamine.
Yeah.
It's literally an amphetamine, and even aside from that, there are drugs that are not actually overseen by the FDA, and that's going to be
Like
in
kratom?
in your nutraceutical line.
Yeah.
You've got kratom, however you want to pronounce that. I used to sell that.
Yeah.
I used to sell it kilos by the kilos. I was making dough on it for a long time.
I've taken Nuopept.
What's that?
It's supposed to be like a nutraceutical that mimics Adderall.
Nuopept?
Yeah.
And where's that derived from? What is it?
I have no clue. It's probably Russian. It's probably like Russian spy shit.
Yeah,
But,
well, Russian stuff. You
my
really
problem
don't
is,
know what
my
you're
problem is like, not only do I have ADHD, but I also have high blood pressure.
Me too.
So I can't, like the Adderall, it just makes me feel like shit because I get all my blood pressure spikes. And then the lisinopril makes me cough all the time. So it's like, well, what do I don't know what to do. And I'm on VA healthcare, so I can only get in like once every 9 years. Oh, you died in the last 10 years? Yeah, that shit. Yeah.
That's crazy. I've actually never heard about that, and I own a nutritional supplement company. So,
are you still doing that? The pre-workout and stuff?
Yeah, I do Pro Edge. Yeah, I'm working with a couple schools right now. We're working with some Division.
Can you snort it?
Athletes. I mean.
Yeah. See, it was actually it was developed in Russia. That's what I said. I remember reading that. That's why it came out. I'm like, Russia.
Nuopept. All right. So this dipeptide comprising proline and glycine, which is an N-phenylacetyl L polyglycine ethyl ester. Holy shit. Was developed in Russia and patented in 1995. It is prescribed in Russia and neighboring countries as a nootropic and neuroprotector, which is basically Adderall.
Well, and I'm totally down with like nootropics. I mean, it's a non-stimulant way to, and that's what's funny is like people don't understand how ADHD works, right? I drink like 3 cups of coffee, and they're like, "Dude, you should be wired." And I'm like, "Actually, I'm tired. I'm really tired right now."
Yeah. No. I get that because I have like a mild form of ADD.
Yeah.
But as far as ADHD goes, I'm very unfamiliar with that diagnosis. Like I couldn't speak on it.
We'd be driving across country, and I'd start getting tired. Be like, "Oh, well, I'll buy this 5-hour energy." Drink that thing, and like 2 miles down the road, I'm like,
want to go to bed.
Doing the hungry chicken driving the truck.
What keeps you awake?
Beer.
No shit.
It's really weird. So like,
well, it's a depressant versus
right.
stimulant.
Stimulants make me sleepy. Depressants actually wake me up. Like anytime. So like, let's take 2 years ago when we were moving out of our house. We had like 24 hours to move because we had just bought a new house and our rental was ending. So we went to the store and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" "I'm getting something to stay up all night." So I bought a 30 pack of PBR. Mm-hmm. And while we're moving out, I'm just pounding them. She's like, "Aren't you getting tired?" I'm like, "No, actually, I'm great right now."
It like levels you out.
Yeah, it levels me out. I think that's one of the reasons like I drink to the level that I do because like it levels me out. It kind of slows down the processes because most of the time they're going.
Well, and a lot of times people will balance it out. If they're not ADHD, they'll buy, like Adderall, or they will take those types of prescription drugs because when they do drink, it like makes them tired and like
I think that Adderall for somebody not with ADD or ADHD would probably wire the crap out of them. I mean, it's gotta like be like Coke. It's got to be like Coke. Because the first time I tried Coke, I was like, "Aren't you supposed to like get like uppity off this, but I
Right.
was like tired. I was like, this is weird.
See, and it actually it was almost the same thing for me, because I've done coke a couple times over the course of my life, and it kind of did the same thing to me, as far as it didn't make me it didn't wire me up, and it didn't drop, it didn't make me feel like I needed to go to bed. It just kind of leveled me out.
Right.
I felt and it could have been terrible coke. I don't know. We're in Idaho.
Mostly baking soda. Not a big
Yeah,
deal.
probably.
Why is my nose foaming? That's weird.
But that's the same thing for me though. I really felt like I was just average. It just kind of
Right.
balanced out my day. My feelings, my vibes, everything. I was like, all right, I had a good day. I'm doing okay. I could probably go to bed, but I'm awake. Where people who probably do have ADHD, or a mild form of ADHD, and they take something like that, your hormonal response is going to be completely different than somebody
Yeah.
like myself, who's only prescribed medication because I work 20 hours a day.
Right.
And that's what I told my doctor. I was like, hey, listen, I balance literally multiple businesses. I work with an actual employer. The things that I do, I just need to make sure that I can balance it. And the guy was awesome, great doctor. He prescribed me minimal dose, it's like an instant release where if I do have a meeting at 6 o'clock at night, I'm going to be able to get through it, but I'm going to be able to fall asleep, by midnight,
Right.
after going out and having a couple of drinks with my clients or whatever it might be. So, I don't know. The whole system's crazy, man. And in the U.S., we have a health system, and you're a veteran. My father is the clinical coordinator for the VA hospital, so he oversees all the doctors and everything like that.
Right.
And we have a system that is completely fucked. We have so many different diagnoses for the exact same issue. Whereas, you go to Canada, and it's if you have ADD, you got ADD. When you're in the United States, you have ADD. Well, are you autistic? Are you what form of autism might you have?
Right.
If you're severe ADD, do you have autism? And then they break it out into so many different types. So many different types of the exact same syndrome, to where they can prescribe the certain types of medicine, which is going to do the same fucking thing.
I almost want to do the Alex Jones. See, I'm kind of retarded. So, have you seen that Joe Rogan?
No, but I fucking love Joe.
Yeah,
I love Joe Rogan, and I love Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Because he's fucking crazy.
It's all an act too, right?
Alex Jones is?
Yeah. In fact, he went into court against his wife in Texas or something, and he was able to prove that his on-screen persona is actually just an act.
No shit.
Yeah.
I believe it.
But I think he believes a lot of the shit he says, but I think he, obviously embellishes it.
Some of the shit he says is out of fucking control, bro.
But, I think that, even anybody that even wears a tinfoil hat, I proudly, screw mine on every night. I watch all that crap just to try and find the kernels of truth in the middle of all the bullshit. Because I think there is some truth in there.
Sure.
And I think even Joe Rogan kind of buys into a lot of that stuff. He's like, oh, yeah, well, I think he's kind of a conspiracy theorist, too.
Have you seen the Joe Rogan episode with Alex Jones, and then they cross it with Elon Musk?
Oh, and is that the one where Elon smokes pot?
Yeah.
I
And
haven't seen that one.
he talks about how
I've just seen the meme of him being like,
yeah, he talks about how we live in the Matrix, and
Yeah.
how we don't really know if we live in a Matrix, whether or not it gets into very detailed information as far as technology, bandwidth, blah blah blah.
How would we know? But
The
there's
elites. It talks about the elites essentially, and like Alex Jones, he gets into these elites, and it is literally parallel with Elon Musk, and the only difference is Elon Musk talks about the technology side that takes advantage of us, to where we essentially don't know whether or not we are within a matrix and pre-programmed. Alex Jones gets into more of like a religious type, but they are literally parallel, man. Like if you listen to the two conversations, they are identical conversations, but one is a technology point of view, and one is like a religious or like a biblical point of view, where it comes to like demons and like and I shouldn't say biblical, but it more to like a multi-dimensional point of,
He talks about Luciferians, right?
Yeah, he's hardcore.
Do you believe in demons?
I believe in multi-dimensional characters. Like I believe that we are within a certain dimension, and we can only see and process certain things, but there are things around us that are able to make an influence, and
right. But wouldn't heaven and hell be a different dimension as well?
They are.
Like you know, I personally believe in demons, and I think that they can talk to you.
I believe that
they can be like, hey, that might be really fucked up, but you should go
totally
do that.
Do you know why that is though? Alex Jones talks about that, and Alex Jones talks about how you have these multidimensional beings that come from different places where they can only make certain decisions. So only good decisions and only bad decisions. We live in the three-dimensional realm where
we're in the middle.
We have free choice.
Right.
We have the option to like make a choice whether it's good or bad. And this is kind of where Elon Musk transcends that level of like craziness, I guess you could say, for people who don't really believe in what we're saying. But Elon Musk essentially, he talks about how like we have this opportunity to branch out and whatnot. Well, Alex Jones, he talks about how we have the right and the wrong. You know, you got the devil on one shoulder, you got the angel on one shoulder, and they're all fighting. And it's because everybody's fighting to make that decision. They want to be a part of our body, which is where the demonic possessions come from, is because we allow like one or the other to take advantage of our bodies because they don't have that option. And so they're both fighting for that. And Elon Musk, his argument is we don't know whether or not we get a free choice.
Right.
We could be pre-programmed to believe that this is an option that we have, but we choose that option because we were pre-programmed to make that choice. Which is fucking crazy, dude.
There's an episode of The Black Mirror. I don't know if you've watched that show.
Like one or two episodes.
Yeah. So there's an episode where you kind of meet this nerdy redheaded girl, and she's in the 80s, and she finds this black girl, and they kind of like end up hitting it off and becoming like lesbian lovers. And you're like, okay, cool, whatever. You know, it's kind of hot, I guess. Anyway, turns out it's all a simulation, and that they're really old people sitting in a nursing home, and a majority of the people in that simulation are actually dead, but their psyche is stored on this huge mainframe.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so they're just doing like a test run, right? And they're trying to figure out like, do I want to do this, or, you know, from the atheist point of view, forever fade into blackness and just like disappear, right? So, you know, the one girl the whole time is trying to convince the other girl like, no, totally, come stay with me. And she's like, well, I was with my husband for 40 something years and blah blah blah. She's like, no, you should come stay with me. It's a pretty interesting episode. It kind of like, it was one of those that kind of like expanded my mind a little bit. It was like the first time I watched that The hell is that Matthew McConaughey movie?
So many good ones.
The one where he goes through the black hole.
The black hole. Are you talking the one where he goes into space?
Yeah.
And he's like talking to his daughter
Yeah.
in time.
God dang it! What the fuck is that movie?
I don't know, dude.
Matthew McConaughey in space.
Matthew.
Let's look it up.
I'm just gonna like spell it the way I feel like I should
That's
spell
totally
it.
not even
It's so
close.
not even close. In space movie. We'll find out real quick. It'll correct me. This is why we have Google nowadays.
It's
Interstellar.
Yeah.
That movie was sick. You did what? Obviously,
Yeah,
you watched
it
that.
blew my mind,
That
dude.
movie was
I'm
sick.
I'm like, oh my god.
Dude, time travel is literally legit real. We could go on like conspiracy theory, but we got you here for wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we could totally do all
Well,
of
we can
it.
do another show on conspiracies.
Yeah,
It'd be good.
I do a lot of conspiracy theory shows, and I always dabble in that with people. I like to see where people's
man,
like,
dude, I'm like one of my buddies. I'm not as there's certain rapid. You know, every conspiracy theorist is down their own rabbit hole.
yeah,
I'm down, so many rabbit holes. My buddy's like totally down like the QAnon, Meganon rabbit hole.
right.
And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I could see that some of that's true, but I don't know. Like, there's no way of knowing.
The QAnon?
Yeah, so QAnon is supposedly like this guy that's supposedly on the inside of everything, and he makes all these posts on Reddit about, like, what's going on in the government, what's going to happen with Donald Trump, and all this other bullshit.
Yeah.
Some of it's pretty out there. Some of it's like, oh, yeah, that actually kind of makes sense. But, I think that you kind of got to wade through the weeds to get the good stuff. And I think that's actually kind of part of what he does. He just throws out a bunch of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to the users to be like, oh, I need to find the crumbs in that shit. Because if he just verbatim said what's going on, somebody would know who he was.
Gotcha.
So I think he has to just like...
He's like anonymous.
Right.
Yeah.
So he always logs on Reddit as anonymous, but you can always tell who he is from his writing style.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
And he's like kind of like popular within like like threads and stuff.
Yeah. And I'm sure that like Alex Jones is like giving him a love tap or something, but
or the government has put him in there as like essentially somebody to like disrupt the field of view and understanding, and mix it up between truth, what's factual and what's not, and to confuse the general population. So when something does happen that is legitimate, then they can write it off as something that's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like UFOs, man.
Yeah.
And we could go into this all day. Did you want to go grab that pack real quick?
Yeah, I gotta piss too. Bro.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. This is for episode 1, because we're gonna do like another episode right now.
1 of 300.
1 of 300. So everybody, we got Corey Wright, my boy. You just listened to the first of a few episodes of this guy. Make sure you subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Pass the episode along. Do you want people to follow you? Do you have any tags or shout-outs?
I think... I'm on PlayStation Network.
Hell yeah.
Savage Elbow Drop.
Dope. Yeah, dope. I have a lot of gamers who come on here and they drop their tags.
Yeah.
So, sweet, dude. All right, everybody, stay tuned for episode 2. We will probably be geeking on something different. And eventually we will get to the reason he's here, which is for wrestling, but you never know how Channel 99 goes. So make sure you subscribe, give us 5 stars, pass the episode along, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.